have got Billy Eichner here
Hi, guys.
in the studio. Hi, doll.
I was about to read him for the sweetener he uses in his coffee.
How do you know? Oh, because you're
It's written on
looking at
there.
my cup.
Well, because it's like, you could tell a person by their poison that they pick
Yeah.
at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it without any sugar.
You don't have to. You can
Yeah.
use stevia.
Yeah, but you're young. There's plenty of time for switching
Not
it
that
up.
young.
Yes, you are. You are.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Now, have you guys gotten the Starbucks app?
Yes, which is magical.
It is a life
But wait a minute.
changer.
Rue is really excited about things that happened 10 years ago.
No,
Just,
but
you know?
I only found out about that like last year.
What is
Last
what?
year?
You can even order and it's ready for you to
It's
pick
ready.
up.
You literally
That's-
walk
yeah.
into the store and it's waiting for you.
Yeah. Wait, Michelle, you're talking. That's what you're talking. How new is that? Is it new?
I don't know.
Okay, no.
I just did it last week,
No.
and it has changed my
No,
life.
I know,
It's definitely
so
life.
amazing.
Panera does it too. I probably shouldn't tell you that.
Panera bread.
Wow.
Where you wait? When do you have to wait on a sandwich?
Oh, you haven't been to a Panera.
I have never been
The
to a
Panera
bread.
app,
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah, I'm not
downloaded
into the
just
Panera
yet.
app.
Their Fuji apple chicken salad is to die for without the chicken. Yeah.
Oh, I guess
Wow.
everybody's got the app.
Yeah.
now.
Right. Exactly.
Well, wait. So Billy Eichner, when did you download the Starbucks app? Because this is what for people who don't know, like myself.
Yeah.
You order it from the hotel room on your phone, and
That's
it
right.
pays for it with the Apple Pay.
That's
Correct.
right.
And then you go down, and they say, Miss Paul. I say, pick up for Miss Paul.
Uh huh.
You don't
And
even have to
it's there.
talk to anyone.
I don't talk to
Do you know
anyone.
how
just
Yeah.
look for
Jetsons-
it.
Yeah.
That is.
I know.
Jetsons.
Just
Yeah.
even like every time in line, I'm like, I don't want to reload my Starbucks card, so I just put in my Apple Pay and your fingerprint.
Yeah.
Do you know how Jetsons
Yeah,
that
but the
is?
know.
motherfuckers still haven't come up with that makeup thing where you put your face in the mask and it does your makeup for you.
True, it's coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll happen.
Vamp stamp is
Kate
here.
Hudson
so.
will figure that
She'll
out.
figure that
And then
out.
charge you
Yeah.
monthly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably in my Goop newsletter right now.
Ah,
actually. Yeah.
not
Sure.
goof.
So when did you download it?
I have an assistant who's much younger and hipper than I, and she told me about it last year.
Last
And-
year.
I'm telling
yeah.
you, Rue.
So I only have known about it from, I don't know, I guess last year, maybe the year before.
And you've been doing it.
Yeah, it's magical.
And you've got the Apple Pay.
Yeah, and I'm a total Starbucks addict. Even when there is like artisanal coffees around, I just need
You
my
just like a nice
Starbucks.
coffee.
And you
Yeah.
only have it orally?
Yeah, well, I've never tried it in any other orifice.
Oh, you do. He does almond milk.
And you call
I do an
yours-
almond milk
You
too.
call yourself a coffee addict.
How dare you?
What are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking an ice grande cold brew with a splash of almond milk and one Splenda.
He doesn't even have to look
See,
at
you know
it.
what? I don't speak that language. I still say, give me a medium sized.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
grande.
I mean, Starbucks
Is that a
been around
grande?
That's a grande.
a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how late can you drink coffee in the day?
I'm a major caffeine person, and I'm also, when I can be, very nocturnal.
I wonder why.
And so, right. But I just, when I'm in writing mode, I like to do that late at night, late into the night. So I can drink a coffee or some type of caffeine as late as like a 6 p.m. situation.
That's not very late.
No,
Billy.
it's not.
Does it
Not for a
affect?
weekday.
Does it affect you?
Yeah, and I mean, I need it. My body needs the caffeine.
Right.
I love a sugar-free Red Bull. I mean, I'm trash. I'm
You're
like
one of them.
party trash.
Yeah.
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 Where did you grow up?
New York City.
In the city
In
called
Queens.
New York.
In-
You're from Queens?
Forest Hills.
I'm from normal parents myself, actually.
Forest Hills is nice.
Forest
It
Hills.
is nice.
Yeah, there are nice parts, and I mean, we were very middle class people. There's Forest Hills Gardens, which are very fancy private homes. That's not where I was from, but I had a lovely life.
Yeah.
You know, we were
Yeah.
not poor, we were not rich.
I worked in Queens
Where
at
did you-
Goldfinger's.
Oh,
Oh, at Goldfinger's.
we talked about
Yeah,
this.
on Queens Boulevard.
That's right where I grew up.
It's in
Not
Forest
like-
Hills, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause I
Forest Hills
dated a
Rego
boy in Howard
Park
Beach.
near Queen Center.
Yes,
the mall. I
yes.
mean, that's where I walked around as a kid.
How far is
Yeah.
that from Queens College?
It's kind of far.
It's
yeah,
far from
Queens,
there.
College
Queens
is-
Center, the mall.
Yeah, the
Is
mall.
right by what used to be Goldfinger's.
Oh, is that near La Freak Center?
Yeah, left
La
frac.
Frac.
Left
Yeah,
Frac.
I like to call it La Freak.
yeah.
Of course you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Because I about 10, maybe 12 years ago, I caught the train out to Queens College to see an Ashford and Simpson concert.
Oh
Yes,
my
of
God,
course you
that's
did.
Yeah.
amazing.
But I think I caught the train out there, and then at Shea Stadium or something, I had to catch
Yep.
a bus.
And that's where you caught the clap.
I caught the
Yeah.
clap.
Yes.
But when I moved back to New York, blah, blah, I never really left. I wanted to learn the boroughs.
Right.
Mhm.
I wanted to learn Queens, but Queens is so big.
Queens
Queens
is huge.
big. It's the most diverse.
And it goes right
borough,
into Long Island.
and it goes right into Long Island. I mean, I like Queens. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be my first choice to live in now.
Do your
but I
parents
like
still live
growing
out
up
there?
My parents both passed away
Ah.
a while ago. But
Are they buried out there?
They're buried in Long Island.
My grandmother's buried.
Well,
Yeah.
were they older when they had you?
My dad was older. He was about 46 when he had me, which nowadays
child.
is
He's
kind
a
of
child.
normal, but back then was a bit unusual. So when he died, he was 80 and I was 32, 33. So he was a bit older. My mom died when she was 54.
What?
Oh,
was a
mine
young
at
one.
56. I understand
Really?
that.
Yeah, so I was 20 when that happened.
Oh, no,
Oh.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And your brothers and sisters?
I have one older half brother from my father's first marriage a long, long time ago, Steve Eichner, who was a photographer in New York and
Is he
covered.
famous?
He worked for W and Women's Wear Daily for a long time.
Oh,
Oh,
fashion
boy.
photographer.
Yes, he was. Very heterosexual.
Yeah.
but
Really?
A fashion photographer. And he used to like dye his hair and stuff to stay fashionable. And when I came out to my parents, who were both great about it, my dad's only question was, "Is your brother gay?" And I said, "No, Dad, Steve is so not gay." And he said, "Well, he dyed his hair blonde." Right? And
This is my moment, Dad.
I was like, "No, he's just into fashion. He's
Right.
not gay. They don't necessarily go together." So yeah, and my brother covered like the mid '90s like club days.
Yeah.
Like he was at Club USA and Limelight, and I always was really fascinated by all that because I was still a little too young
Yeah.
to get into all of that.
Us too.
Steve
Right.
Eichner.
Steve Eichner. Yeah, I
Huh.
bet you've run into each other
And
at some point.
well-
He's like semi-retired-ish now.
How do you retire? That doesn't even exist anymore.
Especially as a
He-
photographer.
Yeah, I think he works. He's just not full-time at Women's Wear Daily. He had a website. It's a whole thing. But yeah.
How does he make money?
We're
He's
very
gonna be-
interested.
He's gonna think this is so funny that I'm talking about him. How does he make money? He had a website. He was very sort of an early adopter to the internet, and he bought photography.com.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Like
Like
many
the
years
person who
ago.
bought sex.com.
So, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was able to sell that. He still works and is publishing a book and things, but I don't know if he needs to work full
Good
time.
for
Right.
Steve Eichner.
And he's a bit older than me. Steve's 50 something.
Huh. I think you're young though. Maybe I'm wrong.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
Oh, yeah, you're
Oh,
young.
yeah, you're young. I thought you were younger though.
Yeah, people usually think I'm a few years younger for whatever reason.
Yeah,
It's your last
because
year.
we got to know
Yes.
you from Billy on the Street.
Right.
Which is just
I got to know him from Billy in the Sheets.
oh, I like that. But but before the world knew about Billy on the Street, you were doing that. I guess on the interweb.
I was doing it. It
The
began as
www.
WWs.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was doing it actually before YouTube for my live show in New York. I had a live comedy show, which was based.
Can I just sidebar and say, isn't it weird that people say live show as opposed to dead show?
You're right.
what is-
I don't know. Well, because if I
We
say
all do it.
show, it sounds like maybe a TV show
right,
Oh.
right.
or a web show.
So that that makes sense.
So now I clarify and I say, oh, it was a live show. It was like it was my version of a late night TV talk show, but no one was giving me a TV show, so I just made one and did it on stage.
Good for you.
And
What
I,
venue was it? What venue?
We sort of bopped around all over New
The
York.
gaiety.
We started out the gaiety. We started out in bars in the East Village, and then we sort of planted ourselves at this theater called Ars Nova on 54th Street, which is a beautiful little off Broadway, like 99-seat theater, but kind of posh. A lot of great people have performed there.
Ars Nova.
Ars
on 55th
Nova.
and what?
54th between 10th and 11th.
Oh, it's
Right near used to be the
Red
Daily
Zone?
Show, but then they moved.
Where the old Daily Show was.
Oh,
where the old
yeah.
Daily Show was.
With
Right.
Jon Stewart.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And then it became Colbert Report, and now I don't know what's there.
Yeah.
But
and someone
yeah.
saw you there and said, or
Yeah, so I was doing the Billy on the Street videos were a segment in my live show that I would go out and film and then show as part of my live show, so I could go like backstage and take a break or something. And they were always very popular. Like they always got a really good reception. And then when YouTube came along, I started putting them on YouTube. And then slowly people started to discover them. It wasn't an automatic viral sensation. But I kept doing it, and Funny or Die got in touch with me.
Oh.
Will Ferrell and Adam McKay's company, and said, "Hey, we've seen your videos. We really like them. If you're ever in LA, come and talk to us." And so I was totally broke, but I put a plane ticket on my credit card, went to LA, and told the folks at Funny or Die that I had another reason to be there in LA, even though it was a total lie.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Funny or Die wants to talk to me. I should go do that right now.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I had a meeting with the now CEO of Funny or Die, this guy named Mike Farah, and I told him, hey, like, we can do videos for Funny or Die, but I actually have an idea to turn it into a TV show. Would you ever be interested in doing that? Because they weren't doing TV at that point. And he said, yeah, he really liked my idea. And he gave me a little bit of money to make a sizzle reel for it, to sort of prove how it would work as a half-hour TV show. And then we took that around and we sold it.
And the character that you, that sort of abrasive character that you do on Billy on the Street, who is that? Is that your father? Is it your brother Steve? No.
It's none of them. I mean, my parents both had big personalities, but they weren't performers. I do not come from a show business family. That's a character and a persona that was kind of developing, evolving gradually in my live show. I liked the idea that I was getting irrationally angry and passionate about pop culture. I liked that idea. I was kind of satirizing myself because I grew up as this pop culture obsessed kid in New York with a lot of access to actually seeing plays and seeing concerts. You know, my parents weren't wealthy, but they had enough money, and I was an only child, and they liked entertainment themselves. So we kind of bonded over that, and I saw movies and theater and all kinds of things, and plus television, of course. And so I was this pop culture obsessed kid, and as I got older, I started to think, that's kind of funny that I'm so obsessed with pop culture. And so the character became almost a comment on myself, on my sort of irrational passion and obsession with culture.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because, you get to a certain age, and my age perhaps, and you I don't know if you've experienced this yet at 39, but where obvious pop culture landmarks younger people don't know about. And you think, and I always thought, well, I thought everybody knew that. But then I now know that I just happen to be pop culture obsessed. I was one of those kids.
And the crazy thing is the younger generation, we say younger than you, Billy, though. These really young kids, let's take the gay thing out of it because we always talk about gay history and not nobody knowing things, and it's fading away. It's going away. But let's talk about the things like Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore,
the Pointer Sisters,
Carol Burnett show,
exactly.
all these TV shows that were golden for us. They don't know about them at all.
No, that's the question though. That's a good question. At what point? What do they?
What's their landmark? What's their benchmark?
It's hard for me to put my brain in that place because it's like, well, I'm paying attention to everything.
Right. You would think that with the internet, the younger generations have access that we never had to old shows, and yet they almost seem more disconnected than ever from history.
Very deep.
Is that real? Is that real? Is that just us because we're pop culture freaks?
No, it's very real because I'm a mother to 2 teenagers.
Yeah,
and
so
they
you
don't
would
know.
They don't know.
But your daughter knows about Vera Lynn.
Because she found it on her own. She's obsessed with weird stuff, but she's also a hardcore gamer. If you ask her about any television, she doesn't know. I have box sets of Alpha. I have box sets. These are all DVDs of Facts of Life, Carol Burnett Show, I Love Lucy. These are things that I put on to make them know. Because if you're not going to look for them, they won't know. Do you know what old school is for them? They're going to be like, oh my God, I remember watching Hannah Montana. Or
They're also
Gullah Gullah Island,
I guess they're also so overwhelmed with options that they don't have any need to look back.
That's so
they
true.
They can barely keep up with what's happening today. I mean, they're just refreshing their Instagram and their Snapchat and Twitter. So why think about a TV show that was on in 1975?
They get continuous content.
Well, also, I think it's our job to be curators for them. And because they are inundated with so much information, it's our job as the elders to, and we do it on our show all the time, where we point them in the right direction. And so a lot of times on Twitter, I'll say, you got to see this movie, and this movie. So who was the curator for you, or were you just naturally curious?
Man, I was really into all of it.
And you were the only one at home at this point.
Exactly. Steve and I didn't grow up together
Yeah.
in the same. I mean, I saw him occasionally, but he was with his mom, and he was a teenager already when I was a kid. So I was very much raised as an only child. My parents just really plopped me down in front of the TV. And they like TV too, so they weren't parents who were judgmental about TV.
Mm-hmm.
And when I I discovered this real interest in Broadway, and I loved singing as a kid, and they also loved Broadway shows, so we would go. And then I had an aunt, my Aunt Joyce, who a complicated person, but
I love her already.
Yeah, you would, yeah. And but my parents had pretty mainstream tastes. They would follow me wherever I wanted to go. If I wanted to go see some avant-garde off Broadway thing, they would go. But it wasn't necessarily what they would gravitate towards themselves if left to their own devices.
They'd rather go see Barbra.
Probably. I mean, we did. We went to like the Barbra Streisand comeback show, 1994 at the Garden. They went with me to Blonde Ambition. I mean, like they were the
At
best.
Nassau Coliseum?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Best tour ever.
The best.
Ever.
George Michael at Madison Square Garden. I mean, they were so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt had slightly more elevated, rarefied taste, foreign movies, indie movies. So she would kind of point me in the direction of that sort of a thing.
Oh my God,
more
I love her.
artsy.
Everybody should have an Aunt Joyce.
Yes.
Everybody should have an Uncle Bobby in their lives.
Exactly.
But until then, what do you suggest young people who want some direction, some curating? What do you suggest they do? Because, I had the Mike Douglas show, and everybody came on to the Mike Douglas show. This is a long time ago. But
had the Phil
Ella,
Donahue.
Sarah,
love
Blondie, from the 30s, 40s, up until current.
Yeah. Man, I mean, you have YouTube. It's all on YouTube.
On
YouTube. There are things I'm still discovering. So I don't know why a younger person, you have to be curious. I think that's what it is. You have to peel yourself away from social media and do sort of a deeper dive into things that happened prior to 2010.
I think you're right. Curiosity. Lola, my youngest, has watched every single Elvis movie. Everyone.
Good for her.
She is a connoisseur.
What's her favorite? Viva Las Vegas?
No, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
We just talked about it. Oh, dang it.
Oh, GI Blues?
I'm
Jailhouse
going to
That's
text
not
her
my-
again
not my world.
she
What's
just
that
told me about it. It was
Cajun
one
one?
that I didn't even hear
Oh,
of.
it's that one where he's the Cajun.
We're going to come back to that, and I'll blurt it out.
Okay, all right. Well,
But yeah, curiosity.
But
Yeah.
Curiosity. But still, you still need a curator. You still need someone to be your cruise director. Julie, your cruise director. And all that. So, being this only kid, pop culture junkie, were you just like this freak with the other kids at school? Who did you talk to?
No.
Was it a Jewish neighborhood? Are you a Jewish kid?
Yeah, I'm a Jewish kid. It was like middle class, mostly Russian Jewish neighborhood. I never felt, I know many, many people did. Maybe it was a product of being in New York City, but I had a ton of friends and I never felt like an outsider.
And they understood what you were
weirdo.
talking about. They knew Sondheim and they knew
They
Bob
might
Fosse.
not have known Sondheim,
But they knew Annie.
But they knew Madonna because Madonna was like cool, and you couldn't avoid it. She wasn't like a niche thing. And so, like my best friend, one of my best friends at the time, Robert Fastman, who, as far as I know, is still a heterosexual man somewhere out there in the world.
Yes.
There's still time. We went to see Blonde Ambition together.
That's a show for everybody.
And yeah, exactly,
Show
a
for
4-quadrant show. But I never felt marginalized in that way. Again, my parents and I shared a lot of interests, so even if my friends didn't share all of those interests, my parents did. There was MTV. I don't know. I found my people. I never felt like I never felt alienated. I never felt like I was alone in the world. Then I went to high school in Manhattan.
What high
Did you
school?
go to arts? Did you go to Stuyvesant?
No, I went to Stuyvesant.
Stuyvesant.
Oh.
Yeah, so
you took the L to school every day?
I took the subway to school every day, about an hour and 15
Why?
minutes each
But
way.
not the L. You would take the 6?
I took the R, or the R to Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights, and then took the E to Chambers Street, or the R all the way to 42nd Street in Times Square, and then got on the
Stuyvesant
19
is down
to Chambers. It's by Battery Park. It's in
Battery Park is where
City.
the accident happened recently.
Yes, it's right
I was
there.
thinking Peter Stuyvesant was over near
It
Stuyvesant
used to
Town.
be in the East Village.
Stuyvesant Town.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I was the first graduating class from what was then known as the New Building in Battery
see.
Park City. So, yeah, in Manhattan, that only opened up my world even more.
I love it.
I was a real city kid.
And that's when you became a male prostitute. We'll
Yes.
get into that after this break.
But before we go to break, Lola's favorite Elvis movie, because everybody was hanging off the edge of their
Yes,
seats,
they
I
were.
could tell. Follow That Dream
Oh, Follow That Dream
Oh.
with Lisbeth Scott.
with Joanna Moore.
I like Follow That Bird with Big Bird.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite
It's such a
Sesame
nice
Street.
song.
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
there you go.
we got Billy Eichner with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about something that a lot of people could really feel uncomfortable talking about. But hey, leave it to Uncle Roo to help you through this. I'm talking about bottoming with confidence. That's where Pure for Men comes in handy. Pure for Men is an all-natural men's cleanliness supplement that allows you to bottom through any situation. It's a vegan-friendly proprietary fiber made up of chia, flaxseed, and psyllium husk. I guess it could actually work for women too if you want to do that. It works like a sponge to clean your digestive system, so when you're ready to go, honey, you really go, and nothing is left behind. Go to pureformen.com and use the offer code RU for 20% off your first order. So keep that runway clear for landing, honey, and bottom with confidence with Pure for Men. That's pureformen.com, offer code RU. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price. Casper brand mattresses combine multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with the right amounts of sink and bounce. It's fantastic. They also have a breathable design, which helps you sleep cool and regulates your body temperature throughout the night. They even arrive right at your doorstep in a transportable box. Now, I just got a Casper Wave, and I love it. Now, listen, if for any reason you're still not sure about getting a Casper, just know Casper has a 100-night risk-free sleep-on-it trial. You can just return it. Start sleeping ahead of the curve with Casper. Get $50 toward any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/Rue and using the offer code RU at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. We are back with Billy Eichner, Billy on the Street. We're talking about his
Upbringing.
yearnings. What is that when your beginnings? What is that? Your beginnings.
Your
Right.
beginnings.
How I was reared.
How you were reared, which brings us to your male prostitution
Yeah, exactly. Good
stuff.
segue.
How were you reared? No.
How is your rear?
We're talking about pop culture and how much we love it. You know, I remember being a kid, I always wanted to be a pop star, and my sister Rosie, who's just a year younger than me, I said, well, don't you want to be a pop star? She's like, no. I had no interest in that. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
exactly.
Same.
I don't get it.
But
Yeah.
none of my friends wanted to be pop stars. Your friends wanted to be pop stars?
I had friends who probably at the time would have said, I want to be an actor, but none
Right.
of them really followed through on it.
And what was did you want to be a comic or an actor? Would you do both? And
You know, I acted a lot as a kid. I had a really good singing voice as a kid.
not
So
anymore?
it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Who do you sound like? Mandy Patinkin?
Oh, boy, I love Mandy Patinkin.
Oh,
I love it. It's so sexy and gentle.
Same.
Oh my God.
He really was.
Oh my
actually.
God.
Oh,
We saw you, Sabby. You were right sitting next to us at the Emmys.
Yes, with Mandy.
And where was he sitting?
We assaulted
I
Mandy.
saw Mandy the night before at a party, and of all the people I saw that weekend, I'm not kidding, the one I was most starstruck by was Mandy Patinkin.
We assaulted him. Rue
We
and I.
assaulted him.
He literally
You're
called me from
braver than
across the room.
me.
I ran over and go, is that Mandy?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Mandy?
Well, he came over to me because he
Oh.
said something about my suit. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
You're Mandy
seriously.
Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I called Michelle and came over. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
yeah.
assaulted
he's
him.
a legend. Who did I sound like? Well, I was a kid, so I only knew what was like on Broadway at that time, and it was all about Michael Crawford and the Phantom of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Opera,
Yeah.
right? And so,
Right.
like Michael Ball and Aspects of Love, all these British musical theater stars of the late '80s.
Yeah, but
Who
they're all
was that?
great.
Jim Dash and Shenandoah? Is that his name? Jim what?
Jim Dale.
Jim Dale.
He
Yeah.
was also
Yeah.
P.T. Barnum.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was
Yeah.
Barnum. Yeah, and
Great.
so
Barnum's just a very underrated music.
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I love it.
Glenn Close, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And so I really loved Broadway. So I wanted to be on Broadway, but then I remember on my my binder. Do kids still have binders?
No.
No. So on my binder, I wrote NYU Film School. That's I kept telling myself I wanted to be a movie director. I didn't end up doing that. But for some reason, that sounded cool to me. But I also love Broadway. And then I discovered Nathan Lane and the 1992 Guys and Dolls. And that really rocked my world in terms of musical comedy.
Like Fistful of Jergens Lotion rocked my world?
Well, not quite that rocked. But that production is very vivid in my mind.
Who directed that production?
That was Walter Bobby.
Walter Bobby.
Did you get to see him?
Wait, no. Was it Walter Bobby was in it? He was Nicely Johnson. I think it was Jerry Zaks.
Really?
Yeah.
The infamous.
The infamous, who's on Broadway now with
Carousel. I think
Hello Dolly.
Hello Dolly. Yeah.
I think he's doing Karis.
And no, he's doing the Steve Martin play.
That's
with
what
Amy
it is.
Schumer.
Meteor Shower.
Yeah, Meteor Shower.
Yeah.
So I love that production. And I loved like Streisand. I remember my parents and I went to see Bette Midler at Radio City Music Hall, and that also I knew Bette Midler at the time from like Beaches, and you know she had been on down and out in Beverly Hills, but I didn't know 70s Bette Midler, which in this concert tour she brought back.
Yes,
and I remember sitting in the mezzanine of Radio City with my parents, just mesmerized.
Oh
I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
I can't imagine. I don't have children. I can't imagine what it must be like for a parent to see their child just become so elated by something that you brought them to. You know, this past weekend I went to the San Francisco Hip Hop Dance Festival, and I go every year. But about 5 years ago, I sat next to a friend of mine's kid who was probably 6, and it was his first time seeing something like that. He was mesmerized. And for me to experience it through his eyes, it was so exciting. Your parents must have been so excited to expose their kid to this stuff.
So. You know what I think strangely worked in my favor? Is that you would have thought I had this older dad. My dad was in the Korean War, for God's sake, right? You would have thought he maybe would have had an issue with me being gay or what my interests were. But strangely enough, because he had come from an older generation, when you said Barbra Streisand to my dad, it wasn't a gay icon to him. It was the woman he saw on Jack Parr. Yeah. He had an appreciation for this old school entertainer that has since become sort of connected to being a gay thing, but from his generation is not a gay thing. It's who was on the radio.
Right.
You know, Streisand was on the radio. And so when I said I liked Barbra Streisand, he didn't think to himself, oh boy, what a fag. he thought, oh, I love Streisand too. Let's go to Madison Square Garden and see her.
She was a Jewish icon.
Jewish. And my parents also both grew up in New York City. I was crazy lucky when it came to all of this. And so that really, I think, was very helpful.
Do you have a top 3 or top 5 favorite Streisand songs? I'll tell you mine while you think about yours.
Top 3. Okay, I got to think about that.
I love Prisoner.
I knew you were
from
going to
Eyes
go
of
right.
War
I knew you were going to
Mars.
go right to that.
I love Songbird.
I love Songbird.
And of course, I have to count the whole Guilty album as one
The
thing.
Guilty album is
It's
genius.
perfection.
It's also got the
Love
Love
Inside.
Oh,
my God.
Oh
The
my
Love
But then you got the
Inside.
Brothers Gibb up in there.
Okay,
too,
come on. You had to bring them up because you're going to bring a tear to my eye
Yes.
because you can't talk about the Brothers Gibb in my presence without me crying.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
But
I love them so much.
That's the magic.
That Guilty album is just genius. And almost every track.
What do you mean almost every track?
Okay,
What track
all
do you
right,
not
every
like?
track.
No, I'm interested.
There might be. I'm forgetting. There
what
might
track
be.
do you not
like? There might be
Is it
one.
Promises?
Towards. I love Promises and Run Wild.
Run.
Are you kidding?
Forget about it. Okay, so we're talking about Woman in Love, The Love Inside,
Run Wild.
What's the
Guilty.
Guilty. What's the one that the other duet? It's Promises. There's Run Wild.
There's a dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. I think that's Run Wild. But then there's the other. What Kind of Love?
What Kind of Fool?
What Kind of Fool?
Oh my God! What Kind of Fool?
Yeah.
What kind of
And what are we missing?
From the
only
Guilty
like
album?
9 tracks.
There's only 9
or
tracks.
Do you want me to look them up?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Barry Gibb has the demos for that album where he's singing the songs, right? Okay.
Oh.
So there are 2 songs that he sings on the demo for that album that she didn't choose.
Fascinating.
One of them was recorded by Olivia Newton-John. It's called "Carried Away."
Oh, I don't know that
It
one.
is
Make it like a memory.
Make it like a memory. I love that.
That
you don't
one
like
is the
that.
one that I'm a little on the fence on.
It's
but
also an 8-minute song.
it's very long.
yeah, because they have this. The thing you were singing was this instrumental, like
Yes.
Jim Steinman
yeah, very much
thing
so. Yeah,
that happens.
Exactly.
But there's also like, you don't bring me flowers.
Yeah.
And then
We
what
know
about-
you can sing, Michelle.
I don't sing like Barbra.
Well, you don't sing. Nobody sings like Barbra.
But there's also Cornet Man, which I won't even attempt.
Man.
Anything
no.
but Funny Girl.
Early
I
Barbra.
love Songbird. I love Eyes of Laura Mars, Prisoner. The Guilty album is in a league of its own.
Yeah, it
but
is.
what are your favorite Barbra songs?
Oh man.
What am I putting you on the spot?
What
It's
about
not like-
Memories?
Well, of course. I mean, the way we were. Yeah. I mean, I like all the hits.
Listen,
but
everything she does is brilliant. But I mean, favorites.
okay, I kind of like old school Barbra. One of my favorite Barbra things is that on her, what do you call it? Like her multi-disc thing, a box set.
Yeah.
Box set. They have her like live cabaret show from the 60s, right?
Oh.
Or from and you can hear her live as a 19-year-old, and her voice
Wow.
is so pure. It's just insane. What do I like?
Meanwhile, you know, on Netflix tonight, the Today.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm watching it tomorrow.
I'm
Yeah.
going to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
She's got the
The
what's
movie,
it
the
called?
documentary,
It's
Memories.
the documentary.
Isn't it called Memories?
It's the most recent tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to try to give her a plug. I don't know the name of
It's
the
like
thing.
the music, the memories, the magic.
There
the-
you
the
go.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some more time to think about what your favorite things are. But
you guys are leaving out all the musical theater. Are you?
I don't care
No,
about
of course I love Funny Girl, and
Are
I
you
mean, of
just?
course
You're
I
just
do.
talking about her songs?
that. Well, no. I'm talking about everything. I'm just talking about
How
what
could
my
you
favorites
not care?
are.
I love.
I do care. My favorites. I'm just talking about my favorites.
I'm a Yentl guy, and I have no shame in that.
Really?
I love Piece of Sky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love Where Is It Written.
Uh-huh.
I love oh my God, I love her version of He Touched Me.
Ooh.
It's pretty epic.
It takes on a new meaning in today's culture, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
It
It
sure
really
do.
It certainly
baby.
does.
And nothing feels the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got Billy Eichner here. Billy on the Street. Now, of course, you know him from Difficult People. I heard you're in a movie. That you're in a movie now.
I'm doing the Lion King remake.
That's right. The
Wait,
live
and
action.
do you have any scenes with Beyonce?
We do, and we have a song that I don't know if we will record together, but which we are technically on together.
Oh my God! If your
I-
parents were alive today,
Seriously, they would die.
When they say
Ironically.
live action, do they mean like how are they doing it?
So it's basically like the animal characters in the Jungle Book. It's John Favreau. He
Okay,
did
so they're
that
still
too.
voice. It's not like you standing out
We're
there.
all voices. No,
Okay.
no. We're not in weird like animal costumes.
which would be
kind of
hot.
Kind of hot.
Well,
Yeah.
for the furries out there.
Uh-huh.
No, it's we do the voice, and strangely enough, I'm the Nathan Lane role. He did the original Timon.
Pumbaa or yeah,
I'm
Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon,
Who's
and
Pumbaa?
Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Oh wow!
Beyonce's Nala, Donald Glover is Simba, John Oliver is Zazu.
And then of course Mufasa is still.
Is still
James
Earl
Earl Jones.
and Chiwetel Ejiofor is Garr.
Wait, you can say his
How do you
name?
say
Well,
it?
yeah,
Do it
I
again.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
I think that's how you say
Okay,
it.
Michelle and I talk about
We
this
have
all
talked
the time.
it. I've looked it up
When you
phonetically.
come to Hollywood and you have an agent and they say, okay, so you want to be a star,
Mm-hmm.
what name are you going to use?
Right.
And then you say,
I mean,
that-
years ago, you couldn't even be like Goldberg.
no,
No.
no.
They would ask you to change it.
But at least with Goldberg, you know how to pronounce it.
True. Yes.
I don't. This is no read. But I guess it is a read.
Right.
You know how the kids say this is not offensive or this is not a read, but at the same time this is a read.
It is.
If you say
yeah.
this is not a read, it's a read.
It's
Yeah,
a read.
exactly.
Okay. Why would you use a name that no one can pronounce?
I think
Because
it's
the
a pride thing. That's
Maybe,
what I
yeah.
think. Really think it comes down to that. Like
And-
nobody's going to tell me to change my name. This is the name my mother
And
gave
it gives
me.
Yeah.
them some
Chiwetel.
mystique.
I don't
Maybe.
think so.
Okay.
But listen. But right now and right here,
Yeah.
you're going to teach me how to say that name.
Okay.
So say the first name first.
I believe I have not.
I know,
met the
I'm sure
man.
you're right. I'm
Okay,
sure
I
you're right.
believe it is Chiwetel.
Chiwetel. So
That doesn't a tell.
a tell.
Not a tail.
Chiwetel. Chiwetel.
Like instead of saying chewing a tail,
Yeah.
Right.
chew a tell.
Now,
Chiwetel.
for you guys who don't know, this is that actor who's really good. Who's
Oh my
in
God.
12 Years a
Yeah.
Slave. He's in
Oscar
everything. He's
nominated.
brilliant.
Selma.
Yeah, so he's everything. He's brilliant. Chiwetel.
Chiwetel. You
Chiwetel
got
like
it.
a tail.
Yes,
Yeah,
but we should
exactly.
probably leave it there. It's the last name that gets us in trouble.
Okay, let's hear him say it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. I believe that's what it is. Maybe it's Ejiofor.
Say it again. Say it again.
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm the one giving you this lesson.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor. I'm right. Chiwetel.
Wait, say the last name again.
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
Oh, like G04.
Right.
What kind of car do you drive?
Ejiofor.
Wait a minute. What kind of car do you drive?
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor? Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
G-O-4.
That's it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
That's pretty good.
Does that sound right?
Wait a minute. Let me just
see.
I need to see a picture of what G04 is because numbers are G. I see G-O-4. Ejiofor. What do you drive? Ejiofor.
Chiwetel.
Okay, I forgot the first name again.
Chiwetel.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Okay. All right.
We're going to take that.
We're gonna simmer on that for a minute. We're gonna take a break real quick.
Great.
And I see I'll never be able to remember it again.
It's already gone.
Chiwetel.
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
Because I drive a Ejiofor.
I drive a Ejiofor.
Good. It might be a Ejiofor.
Ejiofor. So it's about
maybe.
But he's not going to kick me out of bed because I mispronounced. I said Ejiofor.
Probably
putting
not.
the pronunciation in the right syllable.
Ejiofor. Okay.
Ejiofor.
All right, we've got
Ejiofor.
Billy Eichner here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Talkspace is an online therapy company that lets you message a licensed therapist from anywhere, anytime. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the Talkspace mobile app. That means you can improve your mental health even if you've had trouble making time for it in the past. Can't imagine fitting anything else into your life? Well, with Talkspace, therapy is as easy as sending your therapist a message. Get something off your chest whenever you need to. Talk about everyday challenges at work or at home, or just chat about life. There are no extra commutes, no leaving the office, and no judgments, honey. Remember that therapy isn't just about venting your innermost thoughts or digging into your childhood memories. It's also about practical, everyday strategies for stress management and living a happier life. Having a therapist simply provides you with a designated person for you to talk to who's trained to listen and help you make positive changes. The Talkspace platform has over 2,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing life challenges we all face. Now, to match with a perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com/Ru and use the offer code RU, R-U, to get $30 off your first month. That's Talkspace.com, offer code RU. Now, we've got Billy Eichner here. He's going to be in the live-action Lion King
My
movie.
voice will be in it. And then I'm doing this other Disney movie, a real live-action Disney movie called Noel, which is a Christmas movie that will come out next Christmas.
I was like, you better get busy because, you got a month.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Do you have any nude scenes in that one?
I am not nude in the Disney family Christmas
then.
film Noel, but Shirley MacLaine's in it. Maybe
What?
she'll be nude. Yeah, she's in it.
Oh, do you have any love scenes with her?
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Wow.
Yes. There's going to be an NC-17 director's cut
There
of
better
Noel.
be. The Disney version.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be released on Blu-ray.
Yeah. And do you have an acting background?
I do. I went to Northwestern.
What is that?
Northwestern
It's a
is a
school.
school outside of Chicago in Evanston, Illinois.
It's a very good school.
It's a very good school. It's a Big Ten school, and
Who
they
paid
have a
for that?
great theater program.
Did Jason Bateman go to Northwestern?
I don't know if Jason Bateman went. Julia Louis-Dreyfus went.
Who was in your class? Famous.
Kristen Schaal, who's the female lead on Last Man on Earth. On
Oh, the
Fox.
girl with the mouth?
She has a distinct voice.
Yes, I love her.
She is the greatest, and we were in acting class together every day for 3 years at Northwestern.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kidding.
Yes, and Kristen Shaw and I, who are now known as these, comedy types, we were doing Shakespeare together and Greek tragedy and Chekhov and all of these things.
Yeah, because I know her from 30 Rock.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah.
She's
and she does
brilliant.
a voice on Bob's Burgers, and she's been in a ton of things.
Yeah. And so you guys are the shining stars of your class of Northwestern.
There are others, too. There are many. One of my best friends, Robin Lord Taylor, is the Penguin on Gotham.
Robin Lord Taylor. I'm thinking
Yep.
of Victoria Lord from One Life to Live.
And I'm thinking of Lord and Taylor.
Lord and
so.
Taylor.
Wait, yeah, no relation. But Robin Lord Taylor is the Penguin on Gotham on Fox, their Batman drama that they
Oh, right.
have.
Sure,
Right.
So he's like the lead villain on that, and he's amazing. He's one of my dearest friends. And Kate Baldwin, who's on Broadway and Hello Dolly right now. A lot of musical theater types.
A lot of musical things. Yeah, that's
It's very spooky.
Only one person
That's his
calls
hubby.
me, and that is it's actually Randy, who's calling me, Randy Barbado.
Oh.
So now, okay,
Who paid for Northwestern?
who paid for Northwestern?
That was a combination of my parents and a lot of student loans, which
male prostitution.
My male prostitution. And honestly, I didn't pay off Northwestern until Billy on the Street happened on TV. I mean, I didn't fully pay it off.
It's, I never went to college. I didn't finish high school. But, when I hear about the student loan storyline, it's such a crazy crock. People, it's like a not a pyramid scheme. It's like some type of a weird
scheme.
Ponzi where people get locked into this thing.
Was
it
decades.
worth it? It was worth it to meet the girl from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But
Northwestern, for all of its expense, was the best time of my life. And actually, not only did I learn a lot, I also made friends. And all the friends I made at Northwestern, everyone involved in that live show in New York where the Billy on the Street videos started were the friends I made at Northwestern. The director of the show, my sidekick was Robin Lord Taylor in the show. I had a band which was made up of almost all Northwestern kids that I was friends with. Whenever I needed people to come and do bit parts, I called my friends to Northwestern.
I love that.
And it really worked out in that way. And also it was just a great magical time. I needed to get out of New York. It was the one time in my life up until recently in LA when I got out of New York. And I had a real sort of traditional college experience. We did drugs and we did plays and we had fun. It was good.
And were you good in the other classes? What's your degree in?
Do you have a BFA?
You get a Bachelor of Science degree in speech. That's how they do it. At Northwestern. So you don't get a theater degree, but you're literally, my whole life there was theater and acting class.
Yes.
I went to a very academically competitive high school, Stuyvesant. It's like this nerdy math science school, and where everyone is very essay. It's a public school, but you have to take a test to get in. You don't have to pay, but you have to get a certain grade on a test to get in. And kids come from all over New York to go into it and to get into it, and they call it like the Harvard of high schools, whatever. But I didn't realize it until I went to Northwestern, but I worked so hard at Stuyvesant. It was like being in medical school. And so when I got to Northwestern, I took all the academic classes you needed to take, but I was over that.
Yeah.
I just wanted theater. I wanted to be in acting class. I wanted to do plays and musicals and do voice lessons, and that's what I did.
Yeah. So, that's what college is meant to be. It's so that you can meet your constituency, you can meet your comrades.
I really found my tribe at Northwestern.
Absolutely.
I always had friends, but I really found people like me.
These were all like-minded people doing what you want to do.
Well,
Yeah,
that
of
you
course.
call it. I mean, Randy, who just called there, I met him basically in college, even though I didn't go to college, in East Village,
Right.
in the club scene and
College of Hard Knocks.
College
kid.
of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And we have worked together since then. This is I met him and Fenton in 1985.
I mean, it's hard to compete with that bond when you know people that long and if you work together and played together and you're really like spending your whole lives together.
Yeah,
on some
but
level.
a college loan, I just
This is going on in my life.
I
right now.
know it
Yeah,
is.
it's-
I just can't
it's-
imagine paying that money.
I have been
It's
saving
crazy.
money since I was pregnant with my first one. I'm going to tell you now. This is there's scholarships, there's financial aid, blah blah blah, and she gets money off and going in whatever it is. I didn't even save enough for 1 year at like a Stanford or a Berkeley, and that's
Really?
that's a UC.
And they put those
It's-
loans
it's insane.
on kids, and you're responsible for the loan.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
most people don't have to pay the $65,000 a year. There's ways around.
Yeah,
it.
I had financial aid too,
Right, all
a
that
little bit.
stuff.
But I was one of those people who fell into the category of my parents didn't make a ton of money, but they made a little too much money to like
get
for me to
financial.
get a
Yep.
free ride.
Same. And
You
my
know,
kids would
which
be
is
the
a,
same.
how a
Yeah.
lot of people.
How much is it a year for Northwestern?
Boy, at the time,
At least 45, right?
Oh boy, I think it was more than that.
It could be.
I don't know because this
can
was
tell
I
you.
went to college from 1996 to 2000, so I don't know what it is.
96 to 2000.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
I'll tell you what it is now.
Yeah.
96 to 2000. What's he talk? Is that our producer just did something? He just.
Did he Google tuition? Because
I
mine's
heard
slower.
him saying he screamed
50,000.
in ecstasy.
50,000 to live on campus a year, full-time tuition.
Oh, something attendance is $73,000.
Well, that's if you live on campus, room and board is another 15,400. So that's 65 just to start to live on campus
for your kid.
For your kid.
For a year.
It's not for your kid. It's for your kid's education. Because
Yeah,
let's be honest, in this day and age, it's so competitive out there. Look, there's a lot of people like my daughter, my older daughter, who's brilliant, will cite instantaneously Steve Jobs dropped out of college, famously dropped out of Reed College, right? I get it. And you don't have to go to college to succeed. Absolutely not. Does it help you be seen and you get a degree from Stanford? That's a golden ticket. Not always, but you have a way better chance than the other person to at least be seen for the job. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. That's up to you to sell it. So do you have to go to college? Absolutely not. Can it help you? Absolutely. Will it make or break?
No. If my kid told me, well, Steve Jobs didn't go to college, I'd say, okay, you want statistics, kiddo? Let me tell you about how all the schmucks who didn't go to college and what they ended up doing.
Who is her mother, Rue? You think I didn't lay that shit down?
Oh.
Do not. You are going to college.
Right.
That's all I ask.
Totally.
Yeah.
Go to college. Then if you want to, she is in international relations. I said, what the fuck are you going to do with that? Listen, it's better than linguistics where she was starting. And I'm not judging what she wants to do. I think that she doesn't know what she wants to do. What she wants to do is travel. What she wants to do is speak languages. What she wants to do is reform education. She hates the way the education is. So there's ways to go.
International relations sounds like a call girl.
What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do? But apparently I've been talking to people and everybody's like, when I lectured at Stanford, they were like, no, that's great. And I was like, how?
Oh,
right.
my God.
And that's the confusing part.
So how old is she now?
When is she going to go? 18 in March. She's going.
March.
This is it. She's a senior. She graduates.
So a year in September.
She's off to college.
She's off to college. But when do you have to get your application in?
Now.
Right now.
She's ready. We are soaking in it. They have to be done, I think, at the end of November.
Yeah. And you just paid it off yourself, Billy Eichner.
I eventually paid off my student loans, but the only thing that really allowed me to do that in one fell swoop was getting a TV show, which is insane.
Did Northwestern
exactly.
send henchmen to sort of
No.
rough you up a little bit?
Sally Mae, it was student loans. It wasn't Northwestern.
You get a booklet with little pieces of paper.
Exactly.
You rip off every month and you send your payment in. And when you can finally go, oh my God, I'm sending this whole booklet in.
And this is one thing, Bernie Sanders talks about.
And he's right.
I was not a Bernie bro by any means, but one thing he talked about, which really hit home, was student loan debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's sinking generations of people.
It is, yeah.
You work your whole life, you go to this great school, and then you're still paying it off 10, 20 years later.
And they keep, and prostitution is still illegal. You know what I mean?
Isn't that, sodomy is still illegal in some states.
In some states. And it's ridiculous.
I don't know.
How do they expect us to pay these student loans?
But that's,
Exactly.
but let me just be the devil's advocate here because I have my teenage kid. She uses that. Unfortunately, she'll then say, like, literally, she doesn't want to go on tours of certain schools because they're too expensive.
Well, the devil is a liar, Michelle.
But that's the problem.
The devil
She'll
is a
go,
liar.
I don't want to end up out of school with $150,000 in debt. It's not fair to you. And I was like, me?
Wow, that's psychological warfare.
Bitch, it ain't fair to me. That's why your ass is gonna. I had to pay mine off.
Right.
My mother
Right.
paid for me to get my room and board with 4 other girls in New York City. It was cheap as shit. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 single beds.
Oh,
Because
that
that's
sounds
how
like
we
bosom
live.
buddies.
Horrendous.
That sounds like bosom
With
buddies.
people you never met. There ain't nothing bosom about it.
Uh-huh.
And so he's right. It is sinking a generation because those kids don't want that debt. And you know what? They don't deserve that debt. Overseas, if I lived in London, I can go to Oxford for £9,000 a year, all in. Why can't our kids do that?
That's incredible.
Yeah. Now, Billy on the Street, Billy Eichner, you got these big movies. What agency are you with?
I am at UTA.
UTA.
United
Uta.
Talent.
United Talent Agency, the glamour of it all.
And so when they told you that you were going to be doing Noel, this big budget, and Beyonce and The Lion King, this is the biggest thing you've done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure The Lion King is just my voice, but I'm sure more
It's
people will
huge.
hear that voice than will ever hear anything I ever do for the rest of my life and long after I'm gone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, you look very sexy now. You've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's true.
How did you lose the weight? Was it the coffee enemas?
Yeah, how did I lose the weight? I did not ever make a concentrated effort. I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to lose weight and get into shape. It just, you know what actually happened? I never thought of myself as someone who was out of shape.
Crack.
And no, unfortunately not. But I shot the first
Disney
season.
wouldn't like that. That was the joke, Disney.
I shot the first season of Billy on the Street, right? And then I came out to LA to edit it because I edit all the episodes with my editors, but I'm there with them side by side, being a total control freak over it.
Are you a Virgo?
I'm a Virgo.
How about that?
Amazing.
That's
Boom.
great.
'Cause I'm a Virgo.
She's a Virgo.
Yeah.
So you get it. And I didn't realize it, but that first season of Billy on the Street, I didn't know what the show was. We were putting it together. It was this big opportunity for me. I was all stressed out. And I would sit in the editing room all day eating out of stress, not even thinking about it. Then we got back to New York to shoot the second season of Billy on the Street. Great. Then I came back to LA to edit the second season, and I'm looking at the footage, and I thought, oh boy.
Oh, girl.
Oh boy. I'm running around New
Look
York.
at all
and
that
it's like
ass.
jiggly.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't know if
That's
I
the
like
gamer's diet.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then that's when I said, you know what? I was getting really caught up in the making of the show, sort of to my own detriment. And I said, as much time as it takes to make the show, I'm gonna clear some time and prioritize exercising. So I got a trainer, and then it all kind of snowballed, and I ended up liking it. And then you look better. You're like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Clothes fit better.
And all
Yeah.
of that, and you're seeing yourself. I mean, I challenge anyone who's looking at themselves on TV all the time or on the internet or in photos or whatever, not to maybe want to look like whatever version of yourself you think is best.
Yeah.
You know, you get more self-conscious.
Yeah. No. And, you actually look younger now.
Yes, that is, I think, true.
Well, it's
Strangely,
interesting. It's interesting. But oh my God, he just the producer just held up his hands. That finger is so short. Did it get cut off? Look, Michelle, look at his finger.
Oh, no,
Hold
no,
up your
it's
hand.
not.
I didn't know. I've never seen it like that
happened?
before.
Let me see.
Show
Hold
your
it up,
finger.
Alex.
Show your
Can't
finger.
see.
See
Oh,
that?
what happened to it?
What?
Did you lose it?
Oh, he's
Oh,
got
he has no
He's got no knuckle. Okay.
Oh.
Well, then we'll talk about that in the next segment.
Oh.
He's got
But-
two Trump fingers and two regular fingers.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Nanu.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Billy Eichner. Casper mattresses are brilliant. Now, they're an online retailer of premium mattresses at a fraction of the price. Casper brand mattresses combine multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with the right amounts of both sink and bounce. And we love both of those. They also have breathable designs which help you sleep cool and regulate your body temperature throughout the night. They even arrive right at your doorstep in a transportable box. Now, I have a Casper Wave, and I got to tell you, this is a brilliant mattress. You will not regret getting this mattress. And it's better than, going to the department store and getting some gazillion-dollar mattress or in one of those mattress retailers that you see on television. And if you're still not sure about getting a Casper mattress, just know that Casper has a 100-night risk-free sleep-on-it trial. Start sleeping ahead of the curve with Casper. Now get $50 toward any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/Ru and using the offer code RU at checkout. Now it's free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Terms and conditions apply. Oh, we are back with Billy Eichner. We're talking about all things Billy. I like that title.
All things
That's
Billy.
a
That's
good-
a
That's a good title. That's
My
really
memoir.
Yeah, I
One-man
love it.
show.
Yeah. Of course, you know him from Difficult People and Billy on the Street. Now he's in the live action of The Lion King and a porno called Noel.
Nope, not a porno,
Oh,
but
dang it.
close. It's about Santa Claus. It's
Oh,
a Disney movie.
The actual Santa Claus?
It is about it's about a Santa Claus and his family.
Oh, I know. This is the Anna
Kendrick.
Anna
Nicole
Kendrick, where
Smith.
she plays Mrs. Claus or
No.
something.
Anna Kendrick plays Noelle, Santa's
daughter, and
Bill-
she has to take over the family business.
Hold
Yes,
on
yes,
a minute.
because
That
Bill-
means Santa and Mrs. Claus did the deed.
Uh-oh.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah.
And I think you guys will like this. You know
Isn't
who
she
plays?
kind of old to give birth?
Anna Kendrick?
Mrs. Claus?
Mrs.
No,
Claus?
she's not Mrs. Claus.
No,
She's
no.
the daughter.
Anna
I know.
Kendrick is the
Isn't
grown-
Mrs. Claus a little old to give birth because she always
in
has
that
gray
fantasy
hair?
world,
She's younger, and Mrs. Claus is a little younger than the typical Mrs. Claus. And do you know who plays Mrs. Claus in this movie?
Oh, like, can I guess?
Yep.
Okay.
Jennifer Coolidge.
No, although I love her.
Is it Jean Smart?
No,
Oh, I
although
love
her.
jeans. Is it Annie Potts?
No, I love all the designing women, but it's not. It's Julie Haggerty.
I love
I
Julie
love
Haggerty.
Julie
Genius.
Haggerty.
Yeah.
And I grew up. I mean, I watched Airplane,
Oh,
Five
my
million.
more than I
God.
watched any other movie as a kid. And
And her
so-
voice is
And she's exactly
Yeah.
like you know her to be,
That
from
kinda
TV
timid.
and movies.
Yes.
And she's so funny and the sweetest person, and I'm so excited that she's in it.
I just saw her on that TV show, not great news, but it's with John Lithgow and she plays a juror and who is
what
the girl?
show is that?
It's the show.
Oh, Trial and Error.
Trial and Error.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that
yeah.
makes me miss Teri Garr.
I know.
Oh,
I
I
know.
know,
But
the
she's got a
greatest.
great legacy that she has. She, the thing is, all these people, they've worked forever.
Mhm.
They never go away.
No.
You know, Teri Garr is, speaking of Elvis, Teri Garr is one of the chorus dancers in Viva Las Vegas, Michelle. I can point her
She's
out.
what?
She's
Wow.
one of the chorus dancers in Viva Las Vegas.
Are you kidding me?
She's
Why
in the
did I
scene.
never know this?
You know where Elvis has the yellow blazer on. They're in a club.
Yeah.
And I think Anne Margaret has a yellow dress on also. They're doing some, they're in this club. Oh.
Yeah. And Anne Margaret's doing that.
Yeah. She's doing that. She's doing that. That's the scene.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God, that would be so
Teri
good.
Garr.
So when do you
Oh.
start filming Noel?
We're doing it now. So
You're filming it now?
Yeah, I go
Were you
back
on the set
Sunday.
today?
No, not today. We're shooting up in Vancouver.
Oh,
Vancouver. I
beautiful.
love Vancouver.
Me
Really
too.
pretty.
Who's
It's
the
my
direct-
first time up there.
Oh, your first time up there.
Yeah.
Who's the director?
Mark Lawrence, who wrote the Miss Congeniality movies
Yes.
Sure.
and music
Yeah.
and lyrics, and he's really great. Bill Hader's in it too.
Oh,
I
wow.
love Bill
Genius.
Hader.
He
Wow.
plays. So him and Anna play Santa Claus's son and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Shirley MacLaine plays like the nanny figure who basically raised Anna
Right.
with Mrs. Claus. played
Because
by
Daddy
Julie
was
Haggerty.
working all the
Daddy
time.
was delivering
Yeah.
toys.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And the way that it's set up in the movie is that Santa Claus dies. Bill Hader is supposed to take over being the son,
Mhm.
but Bill Hader doesn't make a great Santa Claus. It's
Yeah.
not what he wants to do with his life, and it
He
turns
wants to
out
be a dentist.
exactly. And it turns out Anna Kendrick has all the gifts to be Santa, but
Right.
she's a woman, so
Yeah.
it's
We're
unclear
empowering
whether she
women.
can. But
Yeah.
of course, we learn as the movie goes along that
Yeah.
maybe she can be Santa Claus.
Guys,
Right.
I'm kind of weirdly obsessed with Bill Hader.
He
Yeah.
is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
That's
I
the
love
thing.
it. When he does
Sense
the
of humor.
Seth
Oh
character
my
on Saturday Night Live.
God.
Stefan.
Oh my
Yes.
God,
Oh
is
my
he funny? And Bill's
God.
really subtle and quiet. He's not hitting you over the head with how funny
Yeah.
he is. It's just comes so naturally to
I love him so much.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
and talking to I've gotten to meet Shirley MacLaine, and she's just so open, and just she'll talk to you about, she'll just casually throw out, when I was working with Hitchcock. I mean, that's a real thing that happens
Yeah.
to her in her life.
Boulder
Right.
smack in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
I woke up one morning and Sinatra
It's
was
so-
laying next
it's
to me.
insane.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, and it's just great.
Oh God, your parents would be so happy. The fact that
Oh,
you
they are.
you've bridged the gap between generations of just your career, and it's only getting bigger.
Thank you.
It's
That's very
only
nice of
getting
you.
bigger. You're a great talent.
Thank you.
You have such a unique voice that it's and you said you have a good voice. You don't get to sing in this movie?
Not in Noel, but I do in Lion King.
In Lion King.
Yeah,
you
so
do Hakuna Matata.
we do Hakuna Matata, which is not like a great singing moment because it's more about
Character.
the comedy and
Yeah.
character. And I forgot this when I got the part. But Timon and Pumbaa, they're the ones who start singing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight."
Ooh.
And then Nala and Simba, in
Take
other
it
words,
take it all
Beyonce,
home.
take it over and sing most of it. But technically, I am on that song.
So
Oh my
technically,
And you do get
goodness.
to "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" I do get to sing out a little bit
Yeah.
more.
emote.
Oh my
Although
goodness.
Hakuna Matata is the star of that show.
Hakuna Matata is a big number. The
Yeah.
pressure to keep it fresh and funny and is
Wasn't
high.
Pumbaa or Timon? wasn't the
Tamar?
no.
Tamar Braxton.
No, you guys, you're going the wrong direction. Timon and Pumbaa,
Yes.
Nathan Lane and Max. What was the other guy's name?
Was
the
it-
guy who played Max at Doogie Howser. Was it him?
I thought Pumbaa was Ernie Sabella.
Oh well, I could be totally
But
wrong.
I
mean,
could-
you are
was
doing
it
the movie.
Max
I'm
Casella? I think Max Casella was in The Lion King on Broadway.
not. Okay.
And I think Ernie Sabella, who was in that production of Guys and Dolls I talked about with Nathan Lane, they were Timon and Pumbaa in the original Lion King. I think.
I think you're right.
I-
I'm going to go with that.
I don't remember any of that movie.
And
I
I
did
don't
a
know where
lot of antacid in the 60s. And
It was in the 90s.
90s.
okay, well, then
You
that
weren't even
explains
on
it.
it. Oh,
yeah.
you might have been on antacid.
Yeah.
I'll take that back. True.
So what's next? What do you want to do now? You're in movies, television. You've done the Oh, have you ever done a Broadway show?
No, I'd like to do that at
What
some point.
do you have I know you're a Broadway kid. You love that
Yeah.
stuff. I've said this many times. It's The Hard Knock Life is my favorite show tune. Do you have a favorite show tune? Do you have Today Ticks?
Or your dream role.
I do have today.
Do you
Today
have
Ticks
Today
was
Ticks?
life-changing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love Sondheim.
Can you sing Sondheim though? Nobody can sing. I can't. You
So
can,
you want to do Merrily?
Sondheim's Merrily is one of my favorite
Same.
shows.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
I took
Merrily
Rue. We
is
went
so
to see
amazing.
it.
yeah.
Have
I
you
love
seen the movie Lady Bird yet?
Not yet.
I can't wait.
You must see it, and I
Yes.
won't give it away. But it's
This
about
is Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah.
Laurie Metcalf, and Saoirse Ronan is the lead.
How do you
girl.
say her name? You're gonna
Saoirse.
teach me how to say it.
Saoirse.
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 You have a
It's-
problem with
I
names.
do. I really do.
Those are tough ones.
Sure.
Saoirse
It's
Ronan.
Irish.
Yes.
Isn't it Saoirse Ronan? Is it Saoirse?
I don't know.
I'm
I
going
guess
to
I'm
Ireland
getting it
next
wrong.
Certainly, sure.
Saoirse.
But
I'll
anyway,
go with that, Rue.
in Lady Bird, she's going to this Catholic school, and they're putting on a production of Merrily You Roll Along.
You are kidding
I
me.
won't give it away, but I
It's a
was
mother and a
surprised
daughter.
by
Isn't
that.
she going to
Old
college?
friend.
She's looking to go to college. Yeah,
Old
exactly.
friend.
I mean, that score is
Oh,
unbelievable.
It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
yeah.
So is that your favorite? So
I love Merrily. I love the show Falsettos.
Yes!
Not Sondheim.
what's the song from Falsettos?
There's no really one.
Yeah.
It's
movie.
not like a big hit unless you're like a falsettos
But
person.
That was
Yeah.
just on with Christian Borle. Well, just on. It's closed like a year ago.
Yeah,
And
but it was, it was
Andrew
Reynolds.
Reynolds and
Yeah.
Stephanie Block,
I bought the
and
soundtrack for
it was
that.
really
Yeah.
good. I love that show. A lot of Sondheim shows.
Sunday in the Park.
What was your
Sunday
first?
Oh my God!
You'd be
Sunday in the
great.
Park.
Yeah,
Something I saw the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
I heard he was
which
fantastic.
that show is mind-blowingly
Yeah.
good.
Really? Do you remember the first Broadway show you saw?
Oh yeah, Starlight Express.
Really?
He's the second one that said
Yeah.
Starlight.
Wow.
Starlight
was the
Express.
That must have
first?
been so crazy. Yeah, somebody said that recently.
Yeah,
I
because we
don't-
got into the whole.
Yeah.
I begged my parents. I was like, please, there's a half price. I had to explain to them.
Because I heard it was. We talked about it
Yeah.
being based on Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it blew me away.
I'm
I don't know what I would think about
sure.
it now,
Yeah.
but I loved it. And we were like in the front mezzanine or something, and they would roller skate up
Yeah.
to the mezzanine, and
It's
one of like the
phenomenal.
roller skating chorus members like looked at me and waved, and I just freaked out.
Oh my God! Did he wink at you and wave and say, "You're gay"?
Yeah, and then he carried me off and
You're-
roller skated me away.
You're at Starlight
from my
Express with your parents.
And we went straight to Wigstock.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. I think it's one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's best.
I don't know that show. I was in New York when it was
listened
happening.
to that in many years.
Well, they did. There were different incarnations of it because they added songs
Mm-hmm.
after. Because the one song that I love, I don't know what was in the original. So I was reading more about it recently because what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
Right.
what else would it
Exactly.
do?
Starlight Express.
It's college tuition and Starlight Express.
Duh.
You
So
know.
there were different incarnations of it.
My friends and I were talking recently about how sad it is that there's no more Colony Records in
Oh,
New York.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I would go and like look at all like the imports. Like you could buy the British cast of
Right.
Starlight Express for like a $40 compact disc.
Well, that's a
Yes.
good point
You know?
because we talked about curators before, and there used to be brick and mortar places where you could
That's
learn
such a
about.
Good point. I mean, I would stand in the Virgin Megastore.
Yes.
For hours
Yes.
listening to everything: dance music, show tunes, pop music, things I would never even like, but I just was curious about, and I would study the CD covers and
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
What is the equivalent to, Virgin Megastore Colony Records on the interweb, the World Wide Web?
I guess just doing like a deep dive on Spotify or SoundCloud.
But again, you have to be somehow immersed. You have to be driven to go there.
It's hard. I don't know. Like, it's just not the same when you can't physically pick up the copy of the CD. I don't know. There was something about that.
Is Aunt Joyce still with us?
She is. We don't talk very often.
Oh, shit.
She lives in the South.
What went down with Aunt Joyce? She's a Trump supporter. Sounds like a Trump supporter.
No, I don't think she is. I'd be surprised. She's an old lady now. I don't think she's in great health.
She's your mother's sister?
She's my mom's sister. Basically what happened is when my mom died, my mom was the one who kind of like kept the family together. Because it was kind of a bunch of weirdos. And then when she died, some people kind of went off and couldn't deal with the fact that she died and kind of went away. And then came back later. But I'm not going to fly to Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Right.
To see Joyce. Right. If she lived here, I would probably see it.
Yeah. No, but I just wanted to bring her up again because the curators, the people like that who are our heroes and sort of who guide us to what this life can be.
Yeah.
They're so important.
She was definitely one of those people. Yeah, for sure.
You know, the foreign films and all that stuff. You know, I had that thirst already. And I was always amazed when other people did not have that.
Yeah.
You know?
You're lucky. You're lucky because I didn't have that. Now,
you live here in Los Angeles now.
I do now. I mean, I'm still in New York all the time for work, but I technically live here. Yeah.
Because, LA is a company town, so when you're here, you don't really get to socialize the way you do in New York. Because, you go get a cup of coffee on the corner and you run into somebody and you go, let's go. Oh, so-and-so was doing a concert. Oh, you have a ticket. Oh, let's go.
That's the beauty of it.
Here you don't get that. How do you meet and socialize here, if you at all?
I do, actually, a lot. There's been a mass exodus from New York to Los Angeles.
It's too fucking cold.
Even among my friends who are not in show business.
What do they do for money?
Exactly. No, one of my best friends since high school is a gay guy. He just moved here 7 months ago. He happens to work at Disney, but in a very corporate, non-creative type of capacity.
Non-porn way, the way you work.
Exactly. Yes, there's still a few of us. And so many of my friends live here now, and we're.
Do you know how to drive?
I do not drive a car.
That's a New Yorker.
Yeah, that is the one thing.
Do you know how to drive?
I do not know how to drive. I did have a permit in high school, but I never got a license.
It's because when you live in New York and everybody takes the trains, they don't bother. Really quick story, my sister-in-law grew up in the Bronx, grew up in Puerto Rico, then moved to the Bronx, in the Brizzy, and she married my brother, and they moved out to bumfuck Jersey, where they adopted a beautiful boy from China. And I said, and the boy didn't speak any English. This was like a clusterfuck. My brother was working. She didn't drive. He didn't speak English. All talk about the perfect storm brewing. I said, Nancy, if you don't get a license, that kid, as a mother, God forbid something happens and you got to get to the kid.
This
is
before
ER.
Uber.
This is way before Uber.
If I have a kid and he gets sick, I'll call a Lyft. We'll wait 4 minutes.
You're going to learn how to drive is what you're going to do. And she got her license. Scariest thing from a girl from the Bronx who's never done that.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I wish I had done it when I was younger, and now I'm petrified.
Don't be.
No, don't be petrified. You become one with the car. You become one with the car.
It is the most relaxing. I love even with
traffic.
Traffic.
People love it. Yeah,
I'll put on my podcasts.
Yeah, I know.
I'll put on Deadly Manners.
I probably would have had to, and then just as I moved to LA, Uber came along, and that was the perfect excuse not to.
Yeah. That sounds like a Streisand song. Uber came along. Something came along, and you came along. Is that a song?
And you came along.
And you came along.
Yes.
I like that. So you don't drive. You're living here in the city. You live here in Hollywood?
I live in West Hollywood, like 5 minutes from here.
Right on.
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Plane.
My assistant drove me.
She drove you.
Yes.
And where's she from?
Sierra's from San Diego.
Oh, I'm from San Diego.
That's where Ruth's from, Sierra.
And so, from San Diego, we drive in early. I was driving at 11 years old.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
that was also unheard of.
It was unheard of. Yeah. But you have to because when you're 11, you got to go to work and
right.
You got to go get by those loosies.
Yeah,
exactly.
You got to go meet Roy Moore and make some.
Wait outside the courthouse.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. No, you'll learn to drive one day. Or not.
We'll
you'll
see.
drive. George and I, when we were in New York last week, the company I was working for had a car for us. So wherever we went, we had. This is not bougie stuff. This is just
Oh,
happen. I'm not.
Are you telling me it's not bougie?
Wait, I'm not trying to say, but first of all, okay. So we had a car for the whole
that you were
7
gifted
days.
a car.
I was gifted
as
a
part
car
of your deal.
as part of my deal.
Great.
And
Good for
You know what I
you.
did?
What'd you do?
I went up to Woodbury Commons.
Which is in Harriman, New York.
Yeah.
Exit 16 off the
16A, I believe.
16A
Yeah.
off
Yep.
the New York
87. That's
Thruway
87.
or-
It's
the
Highway
New York
87.
Thruway. Yeah, but it's got a name like
Yeah.
one of them. Like
It is a New York
one of them.
Thruway.
It is
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
life altering.
Good old Woodbury.
Oh, you know,
Yes.
we went. George.
By the way, Woodbury Commons opens at midnight on Black Friday.
Oh, does it?
Wow.
Like, midnight on Thanksgiving. You eat your turkey,
Mhm.
start at midnight
go
that night,
right
go
to
right to
Woodbury
Woodbury.
Yeah.
Commons.
The only problem with Woodbury Commons is it's outside.
Yeah.
In
It's
central New
right.
York.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
it's
It's
cold.
crazy.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Why would you do an outdoor mall in central New York?
Because people do it. They come. They don't care.
Well-
Indoor mall is so much more expensive, so much more of an upkeep.
Mhm.
Is
they
it?
couldn't have had this size of Woodbury Commons. Well, you could have a
It's
mall
bigger
that's
than you
big.
remember, you know.
They've expanded.
When were you there last?
Years.
It's been 15 years since I was there.
Wow.
Easily.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll see your 15 and raise your 17.
Okay, all right. I'll
Easily.
take it.
But the Gucci there was always great.
The
Oh,
Gucci's
yeah.
great. I went to Dunhill, which I would never normally go to. They had, are you ready for this?
What?
Yeah.
90% off.
What did you get?
I got this suede jacket that is like butter. It's beautiful.
Well, like
It was a
$5?
It was a $4,000 jacket.
You got it-
$4,000.
You got it for $400.
for $400.
Wow.
Swear
I
to God.
would have smacked you
That
if you
is-
didn't.
Yep.
That's
Swear to God.
amazing.
So, we had the car, so when you have a driver and we're working for Disney and Shirley MacLaine is your best friend and you got the Anna, what's her name?
Kendrick,
Doing
who I
movies
love.
with it, you have a driver.
I fell in love with her in the last 5
Sometimes
years.
They'll send a driver for work things, and but it's mostly just my fear.
Do you get
of
to say,
not
"Can you
driving."
stop at Chipotle, driver"?
Yeah. Well, I have my Starbucks app to bring it
Right.
full circle.
Uh-huh.
Or you just call Postmates.
I Postmates. I'm a
I
bad
gotta get the app. I
Postmates
should do
Alex!
it right now.
They need to be a sponsor.
Hey, no, okay, can you explain I know you explained the name.
Yeah.
And just sure.
I know we're sold out.
Yeah.
Shay Ronan.
Sure. But tell me,
Sure.
how does the Postmates thing work? I just need to
Oh.
know because I have some gift certificates.
Oh,
Oh, you do? Where'd you get them at?
I got them from the show, and they gave me
Oh,
some.
wow.
for the
When they
show.
give you the card and they give you Postmates?
I don't know, no, not that show.
And by the way, Postmates now,
yeah.
Real Tea, has a surge like Uber.
Oh, they have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
surge
they do.
rate.
They do.
Yeah,
Of
so
course
these
they do.
motherfuckers be like, oops, you called us at a crazy time. You can't get your taco. It's a 1.6. So my
Yeah.
$5 taco cost
Oh,
me
Postmates
$23.
is so
You're kidding me, really?
expensive.
It is
So
expensive.
expensive.
But you get so addicted to it,
Yeah.
How do
especially
you-
in LA where things aren't that convenient.
Like Nicole,
Okay,
my
tell
makeup
me-
artist, will use it to pick up eyelash glue if she
Who
forgets
will?
it. My makeup, Nicole.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a story
Okay, please.
about Postmates. This is
'Cause
my
I don't
favorite
understand
Postmates
it.
story.
I don't
Does it
understand
involve
what it is.
Saoirse Ronan?
No, I was at a house party in Silver Lake of mostly gay guys, but there were a couple of ladies there.
What
You can say
music?
circuit
What song
party.
was
It's okay.
playing?
Barbra Streisand, guilty.
I think it was Jake Shears' birthday party.
Okay.
Jason's
all
birthday
scissors and all,
party.
yeah.
So there was a lot of 70s stuff. And actually, one of the women there, as a joke, I think, she Postmates poppers. So she ordered poppers.
Rush
from
poppers.
from
Yeah.
Postmates.
How do you
Wow.
get them? Where do you pick them? Oh, like at a
You
sex
can
store.
order anything. Yeah, so we were in Silver Lake. One of like the sex stores in Silver Lake, I guess. Like and some lovely Postmates delivery person delivered poppers to the party.
I
from
thought
the
it was.
sex store.
That is beautiful. I thought it was just food.
No,
So
you
it's
can Postmate
anything.
anything you want. Like I said,
Anything.
Nicole will have them if she forgets eyelash glue or eyelashes.
See, listen, when people describe to me what Postmates is, they leave out the fact that you can get anything. I just thought it was a food delivery service.
You
It's mostly food, but you can literally get anything.
You can get
You
poppers.
can send someone to CVS to get, Tylenol, whatever you want. Yeah.
So they are a personal assistant.
Essentially.
Yes, you just pay
Yes.
way more than you
There's
should.
there's a delivery fee, and then there's
You-
a tip. and then
there's
this
all
fee.
different
Oh, you have to
categories.
tip them.
Well, I think they would like to be
There's
tipped.
Yeah.
fresh, there's food, there's drinks.
Oh, I see. You've got the app
It's
there.
Right,
mostly
categories.
food,
Mostly
but-
food, but you can type
it's
in.
poppers.
And it's
too.
anywhere.
And
Do
poppers.
the food company, does the restaurant have to sign up to be a Postmates
I think
person?
so.
I would imagine
think
that they
so.
do because
Yeah.
they know they have all these random delivery drivers sort of showing up all throughout the day, and they would probably want to
I
give
wonder-
permission.
I wonder how many times that night that delivery person delivered poppers.
I don't know. But you definitely delivered them to us.
And how many times have you ordered poppers from Postmates?
That was the only time, and it wasn't me. It was someone else at the party, but I happened to be at the party.
So how many
I'm
times?
not a big do poppers like on the dance floor type of person.
It's more at home type of.
It's when I'm chilling,
Yeah.
Netflix and chill.
When I'm watching Starlight Express.
Yeah.
When I'm watching Grace and Frankie or whatever.
Grace
that
and
is.
Frankie.
Yes. So now tonight you'll go home and watch the Barbra Streisand. Sit down with a nice bottle of poppers.
Warm poppers and watch her sing. On a clear day you can see forever.
Oh, another great one. See, you didn't even talk about
call it
that
a
one.
night.
Yeah, I
You
love
guys
that.
always want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about musical theater stuff. Okay,
All
I'll
right.
shut up.
All right. Well, Billy Eichner, you are a joy.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Speaking
Likewise.
for Aunt Joyce and Stephen and Mom and Dad, we're very proud of you.
Oh, that's so nice.
You've
Thank
done
you.
such a great job, and
Thank you.
and this is just really the beginning.
Well, I hope so. We
Yeah,
shall
honey,
see.
you paid off that Northwestern loan.
Now the
shit.
rest is
Now you
the
gotta pay
rest
your
is
rent.
gravy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
What did I
well,
have?
Thank you guys.
Well,
Thank you,
you
Billy.
so much, and people can find you on Twitter and
Oh,
on
yeah,
lots of
YouTube and,
YouTube and
Hulu and
XTube
this and that, and yeah, exactly.
they're all there.
Postmates.
Postmates.
Yeah, I'll show up at your house.
With
Sure,
poppers
with
in
poppers.
hand.
Yeah,
And some
let's-
KFC.
Poppers in this hand, Barbara in this hand.
That's a night.
There you
That's a
go.
night.
Well, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
And Michelle Visage, thank you, darling.
Till next time, I love.
Bye.
Bye.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.